So the meta's definitely settled down inside Warzone at the moment, and in this video we're going to be going over what are the 5 best loadouts you should be using inside Warzone at the moment. We know exactly what guns are the best, but let's pair them together to make some of the most meta loadouts that are currently inside Season 4. If you do enjoy this style of content, don't forget to subscribe as we try to reach our goal of 50k. Click that link and subscribe to our second channel, but let's get straight into this. So starting off at number 5, we have our only sniper class to make this list. Now you can swap out the sniper rifle for whatever kind of sniper you prefer, but I do think the 3-line rifle is the best sniper in the game at the moment. You can also use the HDR if you really want to, but what is without a doubt is the best sniper support in the game, and the Volk is definitely that weapon at the moment. It just hands down has a super good recoil pattern to control. It's also got a pretty decent TTK up close. Also, it does really well at range, and you can build it a couple of different ways, but the main build that you want to be using is this one right here that you see on screen, with the recoil booster for the faster fire rate, the cross-nick barrel, which is going to be the best possible recoil control, the slate reflector. You want to use the adjustable stock for the best aim walking movement speed so that you can strafe a little bit quicker. Fleet, again, for that movement speed. You can also use gung-ho or steady. They're all really good options. On hand is going to give you that faster aim down sight time. Hatch grip is going to help with the recoil control because it's one of the only attachments here that are helping with recoil. Then we are using the Grenco 45 round mags. This got a buff to the actual capacity of the mags, and on top of that it actually helps a little bit more with the recoil control now as well. Then we're using lengthened and then the Carver foregrip for the recoil control. Overall, like I said, the best sniper support in the game at the moment. Then of course, like I said, we are pairing it with the 3-line rifle. Everyone should kind of know the build of this weapon because it hasn't really changed all that much. Now we are using the Mercury silencer, not the MX silencer. That cons your aim down sight time. We don't like cons to aim down sights, especially on snipers. Then we are using the 820mm barrel, which is the best for bullet velocity, 4 to 8 times optic. The custom MZ stock, which is going to give you a better aim down sight speed. So as you can see, there's a bit of a theme here. We're using silent focus, which gives you aiming stability. If there's something that would have helped the ADS time, you probably would have went with that. But this is all we have at the moment. On hand for the better ADS time. Leather grip, once again, for the better aim down sight time. 20 round mags is because it is available. It's going to help with the damage, the bullet penetration, the bullet velocity as well, which is mostly the main important stat here. Then lengthened for the better bullet velocity and skeletal underbarrel for the better ADS time again. Next up, we have a super low recoil class, which is the MP40 with the UGM8. The UGM8 is an absolutely solid gun in this game right now, and it is basically meta. The only issue with it is it does move a little bit slower than some of the assault rifles in this game, but obviously we're pairing it with probably one of the most well-rounded SMGs in the game at the moment, which is the MP40. This gun has super low recoil, it's got really good movement, it just kind of fits into every part of the meta of this game, and that is why the MP40 is always pretty much going to make every kind of list here. So you're using the recoil booster for the faster fire rate, once again with the better TTKs, cross-nick barrel, which helps with recoil control, but you can also go for the short barrel, which will give you a slightly faster time to kill. Then we're using the slate reflector. We are using the folding stock here to keep the recoil control in the weapon, but still getting some kind of movement bonus. We're using the steady perk for the better strafe speeds. You can also use brace or perfectionist if you need the recoil control, but I don't think you'll need it with this build. Quick is going to be movement speed. Tape grip again for that movement speed because it is one of the best attachments in the game for SMGs. 45 round Grenco mags. Hollow point, you could choose lengthened or subsonic. All of them are really solid options. Then the hand stop underbarrel, but you can also use the compact barrel or the skeletal underbarrel as well. Again, if you like strafe speeds, then compact. If you like ADS time, then skeletal. If you want a little bit of recoil control, then hand stop. Now, of course, we're pairing this with the UGM8, which is an LMG, so you will have a little bit slower movement than what you would get with some of the assault rifles. So keep that in mind when you are using this gun. However, it's still a really solid gun to use at long range, and it's super low recoil, especially with this build right here. So you want to use the MX silencer for all of the recoil control benefits. You want to use the Bernard barrel, which is the best for recoil control. And then you want to use the 3 to 6 times optic, the Mercier's stock, which is going to help with recoil control with sustained fire. Then you want to use tight grip, which is going to help with sustained fire recoil once again. On hand, you could choose the polymer grip here, but the hatch grip also works really well. If you want to go for the kind of no-brainer option, the hatch grip's always going to work with any recoil controlling perk, so that's why everyone's using the hatch grip now and not the polymer grip. but in some cases the polymer is actually a little bit better, so if you can make the attachments fit around the polymer grip, then definitely go ahead and do that. Sakura 125 round mags is going to be the fire rate, going to give you the recoil control, going to give you the big mags as well, so overall definitely solid. The only issue is it does con your damage range and bullet velocity a little bit, however we are making that up for with the lengthened ammunition type. And then the strife angle grip is kind of like the new best grip in the game at the minute. At number 3, we have the easiest loadout on this list, and this is the reason why kind of both of these guns are very popular in terms of pick rate in this game just now, and that is because they're absolutely easy to use for anyone who's coming in to play this game. So first of all, we've got the Marco 5, which is a super low recoil SMG, and I actually think it's a really good sniper support as well. The Cooper Carbine is basically the overall best gun in the game at the moment. It works as a sniper support, SMG, assault rifle, it kind of does it all. But overall, the builds that you want to be using for this to kind of pair them together. When it comes to the Cooper Carbine, this is the build right here. So MX silencer for the recoil control benefits, the Cooper custom stock for the faster fire rate and recoil control benefits, 3 to 6 times optic. You could choose the Cooper 45 stock, or you could choose the Cooper custom padded. Both are really good options, to be fair. It just depends on whether or not you want the initial firing recoil or if you'd rather have a bit less movement speed. So kind of make that trade-off yourself. Both are really solid perks, to be fair. They help with recoil just about the same, so it doesn't really matter. Tight grip is going to help here with the recoil control, and it's going to be overall making this gun an absolute laser beam. On hand for the better aim down sight time. Polymer grip in this case works perfectly fine, especially when combining it with the stock as well as tight grip. So overall, polymer grip is definitely for the Cooper Carbine here. 60 round drum mags is going to be the way to go. Now, a couple of options here. You could definitely go 2 different ways with this one. So you can either use the compressed rounds, which will give you a faster TTK, and it's about 150 milliseconds faster, which is actually quite a big difference, especially in the long range TTKs for this weapon. However, it does con your recoil and your horizontal recoil by quite a bit, so just keep that in mind when you are using this. So if we are using lengthened, then I definitely recommend the hand stop under barrel. However, if you are going to go for the compressed rounds, make sure you go for the strife angled under barrel, and that's going to help more with the side to side recoil, and overall it's going to just make it feel a lot better for you. But like I said, I personally prefer the lengthened build on this weapon still, so you could definitely go with that build. Like I said, we are pairing this with the Marco 5, and this is the best Marco 5 build that has been adjusted slightly since all of the updates, because this gun is super good at close, medium, and kind of stretching into that long range as well if you want a good sniper support gun. So you want to use the recoil booster for the faster fire rate, the Imreto barrel, which helps an absolute ton with the recoil control, and that's what makes this gun viable in those longer distances. Slate reflector, which is going to help with just getting a clearer sight picture. Imreto stock is going to give you movement speed. It does con your recoil just a bit, but we make up for that with other attachments. Frenzy, because there isn't really anything else we could really choose here. So getting health regen after kills is a bonus, especially if you're in those close quarters gunfights. Quick for the better movement speed. Tape grip again for the better movement speed, because we are using the Nambu 64 round mags. Now, usually I would recommend the 48 round mags. We don't want to con movement too much, but considering the movement was already nerfed on this gun is a very good sniper support, and you're going to get extra recoil control benefits. We are using the 64 round mags in this case. Hollow point, again, you could choose lengthened if you're running this as a sniper support. You could choose subsonic as well. Now, like I said, I do think this is probably the better sniper support gun in the game, so you do want to choose lengthened in my opinion. And then the skeletal underbarrel for the better movement speed, because you're absolutely going to need it with those huge mags on this weapon. At number 2, we do have a loadout that involves a bit more skill than the loadouts we showed previously, and that is because they did get a bit of a nerf. However, if you can master these 2 weapons, they actually do kill a little bit faster than some of the more meta weapons in this game, and it's not even that hard to learn how to control these guns, to be perfectly honest, and that's why I've put them in the number 2 slot. So if you can master the STG, it does kill a little bit faster than the KGM40, and Blixen still has one of the faster TTKs in the game when it comes to SMGs, even from Vanguard, so it's still a good solid choice. Now, when it comes to the STG build, this is the build you want to use. The build did change a little bit, and I'll explain why. So you do want to use the MX silencer for the recoil control benefits, the 760mm barrel for the recoil control benefits, 3 to 6 times optic, weighted stock again for the recoil benefits. Vital now, because it does give you a slightly faster TTK than using just a standard STG without it. So you do want to actually go for vital here when you're looking at the mixed shot location TTKs. On hand for the better ADS time. Polymer grip in this case again works really well, so make sure you use the polymer grip on the STG. 50 round mags is going to be the best at controlling recoil, lengthened, and then the hand stop under barrel again on the STG is the best under barrel. I have tried it the strife angled grip. It does feel a little bit better maybe with the side to side, but I do think overall the hand stop is definitely the best for the STG. Then we're moving on to the Blixen, obviously, which is the gun we're pairing this with. And the build for the Blixen hasn't really changed too much, let's be perfectly honest. You're using the recoil booster for the faster fire rate, the F3 barrel when it comes to recoil control, because people still find having a bit more control in the weapon is better than having an insanely fast TTK. So make sure you go for the F3 barrel. Then slate reflector, remove stock for the better movement speeds, fleet again for the better movement speed, but if you do need the recoil control, go for perfectionist. It will give you that little bit extra control in this weapon. Quick for perk 2. Tape grip again for the movement speed. They did nerf movement on vanguard guns when it comes to SMGs, so just keep that in mind. The 54 round Grenco mags are the best when it comes to TTK on this weapon. Hollow point, or you could choose lengthened or subsonic. And then the compact under barrel, which is actually going to help with your gun bop and your aim walking movement speed, which is kind of the main thing about this weapon. So overall, a very solid class to put together here. And last but not least, at number 1, the most well-rounded guns in this game at the moment, and that is the Armageddon with the KGM40. Now, obviously the KGM40 is probably the easiest assault rifle in the game to use. The Armageddon is definitely the most well-rounded SMG in the game. So when it comes to the KGM40 at the moment, this build is probably the build everyone's used to using. I've made a couple of adjustments just because of what people are choosing over certain attachments, but I will explain a few things. So MX silencer for the recoil control benefits, 720mm shrouded barrel, but I have found that the Krosnick barrel gives you better horizontal control. So if you do want a bit better horizontal control, then go for the 700mm. But most people are still picking the shrouded barrel, maybe just as a force of habit, or it's just what their classes are already set up with. I do think the Krosnick barrel is the better option at the moment. 3 to 6 times optic, padded stock is going to help. You can also choose the Krosnick stock. Both are good. One just helps with movement a bit more than the other. So just take your pick here. It's a super low recoil gun anyway. Having a little bit more movement in the weapon is definitely going to help. Tight grip for the recoil control once again. On hand for the better ADS time. Hatch grip, once again, is just a no-brainer attachment if you don't know what to pair with certain perks. 60 round drum mags are the best, lengthened, and then the strife angle grip is definitely the best grip when it comes to the KGM40 for that side-to-side recoil control. And of course, we're pairing this with the Armageddon SMG. Now, I've actually changed my build for this, and that is based on a couple of TTK finds that I've seen on the sim.gg website. So first of all, you want to use the recoil booster for the faster fire rate. The Imreto barrel is actually going to give you better recoil control than the body barrel, and I found that you get a very similar TTK. Now, even though the body barrel in theory will give you a faster time to kill, having that recoil control on the weapon actually just makes it very similar in terms of TTK, because you're going to be missing less shots anyway. So you'd rather go for that, and also it does help land those shots at a distance if you want to run this gun as a sniper support. But both barrels are solid options. Slate reflector, Imreto, skeletal, and this is going to give you that better strafing speed. So if you're trying to strafe and get kills, which is probably one of the main reasons people are using this gun at the moment, then is definitely a solid build. So usually I would recommend the SA folding, which you could definitely go for if you just want standard movement speed. But if you want that strafe speed, which everyone's trying to go for, then the skeletal is going to be the best option. Hard scope, you can also choose steady if you're happy with the recoil of this weapon. But if you need that little bit extra control, then hard scope will be the solid option here. Quick for the better movement speed. Groove grip for the better ADS strafing speeds. Again, this is going to be an absolutely insane strafe speed build. 60 round mags, you can actually choose the 72 round mags. Both are actually really good options now. Hollow point or lengthened, again, this is a good sniper support weapon. And then the compact underbarrel for that strafing speed. And overall, that is the #1 best loadout in Warzone at the moment. So there we have it. Those are 5 of the main meta loadouts. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe as we try to reach our goal of 50k. Click that link and subscribe to our second channel. Thank you very much for watching.